It's finally time to jump back into our update retrospectives, with this episode 2 weeks or so later than scheduled. And I'm so excited to get into this update. In my opinion, this is the only perfect update we've had, and for a good reason. But enough of that, let's get into why this is. It was March 2020 and Rare had gotten into the swing of things with their monthly updates, and off the back of the surprisingly chunky Cruise of Rage came the best monthly update and contender for the best we've ever had, Heart of Fire. This released on the 12th of March 2020 and dropped a fat boatload of new stuff for us to enjoy. This included 2 new sandbox items, a new Pirate Legend Voyage, some new cosmetics, a new curse, and of course, the greatest tall tale we've ever had. Kicking things off, I want to cover the Pirate Legend Voyage. At this point, we hadn't gotten much of a Pirate Legend update. Rare drops this new voyage onto us, the Athena's run of Thieves Haven. We'd previously discussed Reaper runs, multi-chapter voyages designed to concentrate players in one area and encourage PvP. This was no different, except it was Thieves Haven and Pirate Legends could only purchase these from Duke. Oh, and Reaper's marks were optional too. The voyage structure has you digging at Thieves Haven for 3 items. Chapter 2 is a riddle map at Snake Island, Devil's Ridge or Crux Hollow, but when you dig up the chest, a coloured skeleton of fate will spawn. This one will be green. If you kill it, you get another piece of Athena loot. Chapter 3 is back to Thieves Haven, for 6 dig spots this time, and 1 is a guaranteed firebomb crate. Chapter 4 is the same as number 2, but the Shadow of Fate skeleton will be a red one this time, hence the firebomb crate to get the red flame from the ferry. The final chapter is 9 digs at Thieves Haven, and 1 dig will spawn a skeleton with a keg of ancient black powder. You can actually obtain the keg if you shoot the skeleton in the legs instead of shooting the keg itself. Along with this voyage, Rare added new Athena loot. This was the chalice, the relic, the voyage crate, both new skulls, and the keg of ancient black powder. Any of these items could appear at these dig spots, along with a very small chance of a chest of legends. The voyage was revolutionary at the time. While it's not as grand as Legend of the Veil, this acted as a new way for Pirate Legends to progress at a more reasonable rate too. Now they had the original voyages, Fort of the Damned and Thieves Haven runs. The best part of these voyages was the sheer spike in player interactions. Mainly this was players fighting tooth and nail for these precious items. Imagine it before this update, you could only progress with 1 item, but this now had been expanded, making these voyages more lucrative. Thieves Haven runs can be deemed a bit tedious, they are really long voyages after all. However, this was by design. It was made to make the risk as equally high as the reward. This philosophy is what makes Sea of Thieves such a masterpiece, which you'll see in the upcoming updates. For your efforts, you could unlock the legendary Treasure Seeker costume and the Ghost Cannons, wheel and capstan. When you think about it too, this was almost 18 months after Shrouded Spoils, so this was a very long to wait for those cosmetics. To further this expansion to PvP, Rare also drops 2 meta-defining items, the Blunderbomb and the Chain Shot. No matter how you see these items in today's meta, these certainly gave combat more breadth, both hand-to-hand and naval combat. Starting with the Chain Shot, this was a new cannonball type in which you would do extra damage to the breakable parts of the ship. Previously, you could do damage to the mast, capstan and wheel, but it would take 2 to 3 cannonballs to fully damage these parts. The Chain Shot changed this, where a single shot would be enough to bring down a mast or fully damage the capstan and wheel. It was not without its disadvantages though. The Chain Shot does reduce damage to the hull and is much rarer than the regular cannonballs. You do start with 2 per barrel when you load into the game though. Even more interesting is that the Chain Shots have reduced range, so you have to fire them much higher than you would regular cannonballs, but they do have a wider hitbox to compensate. Overall, I still maintain Chain Shots were a superb addition to the sandbox, allowing players to easily take down running opponents or even disable an aggressive ship with a handful of skillful shots. The sloop did get a dicking when this came out, but after 2 years, Rare have managed to rebalance that aspect. The Blunderbomb was a new throwable, much like the Firebomb. This time, however, they deal more damage and send your opponent hurtling away from the explosions. Again, these were a completely different method of play compared to the Firebombs. Whilst Firebombs provide damage over time and reduced visibility, the Blunderbomb can be used to deliver quick damage with a skillful throw. If you hit an opponent directly, they'll lose 50 health and be thrown back. These are really useful for dealing with boarders, making the knockback that much more valuable in a fight. Just like firebombs, they can be placed in the cannon and fired out of them. If you get a hit on the opponent, they'll be knocked back and often off the ship, but it will also cause the ship to recoil, throwing off the opponent's aim or even changing their course. Many players now use these to prevent anchors from being raised and masts from being repaired. Like the chain shots, I absolutely love the addition of these and will often have 5 in my pocket should my crew come into combat. They're an invaluable tool for solo sloopers, as Fuzzy Bond so aptly demonstrates. Give this video a watch. On a final note, adding not 1 but 2 sandbox items in one update is genuinely impressive. They may seem small on paper, but these are the sorts of items that really breathe life into the game. Hopefully we get something like this soon, as it's been over a year since the tridents were added. Next up is the wealth of cosmetics added in Heart of Fire. Well, they added some in the regular stores, but as the Ashen Dragon stuff was pretty much complete, thank the Lord no more Ashen Tomes arrived with this update. The lantern was added in the stores, as I guess Rare had no other means to release it. We already talked about the new Pirate Legend cosmetics, but let's see what good old Duke has in the black market this month. He's decided to stock the instruments for 4 different sets that have previously appeared. These are the Inky Kraken, Nightshine Parrot, the Potion Crawler, and the Aristocrat. I much prefer this approach to either having 1 new set a month or all the same class of items. And what can I say that hasn't been said? If you like these sets, you're in for a treat. But the Inky Kraken one is definitely the best. As always, we got the new Emporium refresh, to no one's surprise. There are some new pet outfits, weapons, 2 emote bundles, and a ship set. The pet outfits for once are actually quite nice. They're called the Crunch outfits, and essentially you're dressing up your pet as a banana. This is the kind of stuff I expect from the Emporium, where you get some goofy stuff that is sort of in line with the game style. Similarly, there's the Crunch weapons, banana themed weapons that channel the same energy as the pets. They're a bit sillier as they're meant to be weapons, but it's still Sea of Thieves themed and not as garish as some more recent additions. Emotes remain stellar, with the Lost Pirate emotes and the iconic Merchant Alliance emotes. The first are some of the more out there ones and are very creative. I personally don't use them, but I can definitely see the appeal. Then we have the greatest emote bundle of all time, Merchant emotes, which I constantly use for my videos. I mean, you can't get any better at looking impatient and crossing your arms. These are easily the greatest of all time. The Royal Sea Squirrel ship set is the best Rare themed one. This ship set is based on the beloved Conquer series and hit it out of the park with the theme, the colouring, and the Easter eggs. I love the ship a lot, mainly because of the IP it represents. Oh, and there's one final bonus item. It's the Reaper's Mark sails. These sails are the anniversary ones to celebrate the 2nd anniversary of Sea of Thieves. What is funny is that it's literally the anniversary logo in sail form. As much as I think these are stunning, these should have been given out to all players rather than shoved in the Emporium. So that rounds up the Emporium, and as always, I've saved the best to last, the new Tall Tale. Heart of Fire is the best Tall Tale we've had. It's better than Shores of Gold, and it's better than any of the Pirates Life ones. There, I said it. It has the right level of puzzles, the exploration factor is off the charts with 2 new additions to the map, the music is amazing, the dungeon design is perfect, and the atmosphere is absolutely dripping in dread. This is why the content update is so fucking good, and then they add all the other bits on top of it. Need I remind you that this is a monthly update too? Compare that with what we got last year with each month. Heart of Fire continues the story thread started in Seabound Soul, where Stitcher Jim has gone missing, but he has trapped Pendragon's old crew in a chest of rage. It's our job to fix the big man's mistake again by tracking them down. We head to the Liar's Backbone, where Jim's lair is. This is a little throwback to where he was during Forsaken Shores. Inside is this new area, Jim's hideout, with boxes of wondrous secrets strewn all over the cave and runes related to Captain Flameheart. The design of this place is wonderful, and it really hammers home Jim's enthrallment by Flameheart. We then have to go to the Devil's Thirst to enter Flameheart's stronghold, the Heart of Fire. This is a dungeon / gauntlet like the Belly of Gold, but has 3 paths with different traps that are much less frustrating than this. Yeah, I hate this section. The catacombs exude dread with the track Into the Heart of Fire beating down on you in the background. Flameheart taunts you as you race to save the crew of the Black Witch. Once you finish your gauntlet, you arrive at the scene of the Burning Blade, the most legendary vessel to exist projected in ghostly form, with the Masked Stranger watching on. Jim plunges his hand into the chest, cursing him to become an Ashen Lord. We retrieve the chest and proceed through a final gauntlet to hand the chest to Pendragon. I honestly could play this over and over again, it's a 10 out of 10 for me. For finishing the Tall Tale, you get the Ashen Dragon hull, and if you finish all the commendations, you get the best curse, the Ashen Curse. The best part is, you only have to do it 3 times, and the 3 paths gives you a fresh experience each time. And the worst part about this? The story thread still hasn't been paid off 2.5 years later. I seriously think about this every day and it hurts my soul. It's such an awesome cliffhanger and it cannot be left for 2.5 years while we go on a tangent. Hopefully, we'll see Jim again soon. So, that covers the content released in Heart of Fire. Did you play Heart of Fire? And if so, let me know why it's the best update down in the comments. Remember to leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date with all the new videos. Thanks again for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.